Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. So today we are going to talk about manifesting health and what exactly that means. And I want to explain this important part to you very clearly so you understand that you're not just being delusional. You are not just trying to be positive or hold a positive mindset. You're not just trying to turn the thoughts off in your head and repeat something different or be delusional. I want to be very clear about what it is that you are doing, that you are trying to manifest in a way that is a little bit easier and clearer to understand, because people always get caught up in this. Should I lie? How do I just ignore my symptoms? Do I just pretend I'm healthy when they're ravaging my mind and my body? And how do I actually do this? So I want to start by saying that you don't actually manifest something by using your little magic wand and saying, I'm healthy, and then your whole body changes and the 3D changes. Okay, that's not what's happening. You don't just repeat something or think about it enough times, waving your wand, and then ta-da, it just comes true. That's not what manifestation actually is, particularly when it comes to health. It's the same if you're trying to manifest money, right? You don't just think, I want $1 million, picture yourself with $1 million, picture yourself in the house, in the car, with all these things, and then wave your wand, think of it enough times, and ta-da, you look in your bank account and there's the $1 million. That is not how it works. You also don't have to set it as a goal and then go out and work really, 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 really hard for it. That's also just goal setting and just taking action towards a goal, which is good, but that's also not how manifestation works. It's not through efforting and trying to reach that goal that it happens as well. So one, it's not magic. It's not just ta-da, here it is. And then it's not just efforting and grinding it out, taking action every single day towards your goal, and then eventually it comes. Although that's more likely than the first, just trying to think it from nothing into being. Okay, so if you're with me so far, you're like, okay, I get what it's not. So then how do you do it? How do I take a body that is sick, that is in pain, that is suffering, that has numerous symptoms all over, and how do I manifest a healthy, healed version of myself? So I'm not going to keep you in suspense any longer. The actual answer is you decide. Decision is the most important thing, as well as meaning. The meaning that you give something in your life and the decision that you make about that meaning. So right now we're looking at the houses behind me, and I am looking out at the water, but I'm going to flip so that you see the water and I see the houses. And ta-da, just like that, just like magic, now you see the water. The only thing that's different is which way I'm looking. So now I'm looking up at houses, so I'm seeing houses. You're looking at the lake. So right now it would appear I'm not at the beach. I'm looking up at a row of houses. But to you, all you see is the lake. I'm in the exact same position that I was before. What has changed? Well, A, I decided to turn my chair around, and therefore I made a decision. B, the meaning that I now give it. But we're not here to talk about the beach or what way I'm facing. We're here to talk about how you manifest health and healing when you're sick. So when I say that it's all about meaning, everything is meaningless. Everything that happens in this universe is meaningless. It's not meaningless to you because you've given it a story, because it affects you, because it affects your life. Your symptoms, everything going on, it's meaningless to the universe. It's just something that's happening. There's no story. So I'm not trying to be insensitive here, because I know that it's not meaningless to you, and I know that it affects you deeply, and I know that the story you've built around it is the story that you're living. And so I'm not unsympathetic to what you're going through, because I was there. You're stuck in a living hell, in a living nightmare that you can't escape, and you're suffering continually. And you are probably feeling like a victim because you are. I'm not telling you you're not a victim. But when you create a victim story, when you create a woe is me story, and I just want to be clear up front. I am not saying that this is your fault, that you're choosing this, or that you can just think this away. That's not what I'm saying. I want to get that out of the way right up front. I could have no more chose it away when I was in the height of my suffering. I mean, I tried, but when you are living an identity, a sick person identity, when you're living the symptoms, the story, the illness mindset, when you're living that because you're stuck in it day in and day out, that is what you're creating, because that is what you're thinking about. That's the identity that you are doing everything from. You are consciously aware of that story, whatever meaning you've given to it, like how it happened, what the meaning you give to it, what it means for your future, what it means for your life, like how horrible this is. All of that is a story and a meaning that you're applying to symptoms and sensations in the body that actually don't have a story attached to them or a meaning until you give it one. Okay, so now I just moved out of the sun. I'm in the shade. I'm looking a different way. You have a different perspective. And so while I've interrupted this video again, if you haven't already subscribed, please do that if you're getting value from my videos. It really helps this channel grow. Also hit the like button. That helps the algorithm show people to find it. And if you're interested in working with me, part 1 of my program is available now. Click the link below for more details or to sign up. And if you want a free resource, my top 10 tips on how to actually heal yourself, then you can download that as well. So meaning is everything, because when you give something meaning, when you take a story and you apply meaning to it, when you take a symptom or a sensation and you apply meaning to it, when you take your past and you apply meaning to it, when you take your circumstances, your current circumstances, and you apply meaning to it, you have a perspective now about a situation, about a story. You've given it a meaning, and it's very hard to change that. So you do everything from that meaning. You look at it from that perspective. You apply a certain meaning, and that means something to you. Meaning, if you think it's hard to heal, it's difficult to heal because you've been sick for 10 years, and so it's not likely that you're going to heal fast, that healing has to be hard work, that healing is slow. That is the story that you are going to play out, right? If you give what happened to yourself, however you got here, like a meaning, I was wronged, I was harmed, this is terrible, my life's never going to be the same again, I have this diagnosis, I can't overcome it, it's lifelong, the doctor said this, the doctor said that, therefore this means that my future looks like this and my future looks like that, and I'm never going to be healthy, and I'm never going to be happy, and I can never, run a marathon, and I can never climb the mountain, and I'm not going to be the type of person who can run, or I'm not going to be the type of person who could travel, or I can't do this and that and this, because you've given it a meaning. You've given what you're going through, you've given your current circumstances a meaning based on how you've interpreted it, based on your experience of what's happened to you, and the filter that you're looking at that story through. So if I put on glasses and they're rose colored, I'm going to see a rose colored world. If I put on glasses and they're yellow colored, I'm going to see a yellow filtered world, right? If I put on glasses and it's blue, I'm going to see a blue filtered world. And if I put on glasses and they're black, they're totally done, I'm not going to see the world. I'm just going to see blackness in front of me. So it depends on what filter you're looking at it through as to what meaning you're giving your current circumstances and what meaning you're applying your future. So again, I just moved locations. I'm in the exact same spot. I'm just turning my chair, and you are going to see a different view, a different perspective of the exact same spot that I am. Maybe you see sand now, or you see a place that you could walk and you'd be like, oh, I could walk all the way down that shore. Whereas before, when you're looking at the rocks behind me, you're like, oh, there's nothing but a bunch of rocks. There's really nowhere to walk. And now you see clearly that there's somewhere to walk. And so it gives you a different perspective and you're like, oh, I could walk. I could put on my shoes and walk for miles. Whereas before you might think, oh, this is just a little spot to sit, a little cove, there's nowhere to walk. Okay, so I just had to come up to my house for a minute, but if you're just tuning into this video right now, you aren't even gonna be aware that there is a beach. You're gonna think, oh, she's in a kitchen with a fridge. Not even any clue that there is a beach nearby. So again, you might see that with a different perspective or give that a different meaning. So it's how we're looking at the same thing with a different perspective, and then we apply meaning to it. So you are applying meaning to your diagnosis. You are applying meaning to your symptoms. You are applying meaning to your illness. You are applying meaning to your suffering. You are applying meaning to how long it's taking, or what the diet you're eating is, or what the protocol you're doing is. You're applying meaning based on a perspective that you have because you've created a story around it. Now, this does nothing to change the symptoms. The symptoms are there, the diagnosis, whatever you're dealing with is there, no matter what glasses you see it through, whether they're yellow or blue or black, whether you're looking at the kitchen behind me, whether you see a lake or whether you see rocks or whether you see trees. That's why you can't just think it differently and change it. It is what it is. But the meaning that you give it is so important, because the meaning that you're giving something based on the perspective that you're seeing it through, based on inputs and whatever's happening. Maybe you read something, you saw something, it happened to your aunt or your uncle, or somebody said something, or you read something, or you heard something, or you feel a certain way, or you had a dream, or whatever. You are applying meaning to your current situation and your current circumstances right here, right now, but you could apply any meaning to it. You could see it through any perspective, right? You could give it any meaning. The fact that you have raging symptoms right now, let me ask you, if you are suffering, if you're in pain, if you have symptoms that are distressing you right now, whether they're physical, emotional, or mental, what are you saying about those symptoms? What meaning are you giving them? Oh no, my symptoms are raging, therefore it's going to be a bad day. Therefore, it's going to be a bad week. Therefore, this protocol's not working. Therefore, it's just going to take me a long, long time to heal. Therefore, I'm never going to heal. Therefore, I can never get better. Therefore, everything bad always happens to me. Therefore, I can never get out of this situation. I can't escape it. Therefore, I have no clue what I'm doing, or how to heal, or what to do, or whether it can even work. I don't even know if I can heal. Therefore, what's the point? Therefore, there is no point. Therefore, it's meaningless. Therefore, I'm going to suffer forever. Therefore, I'm going to die. Now, the symptoms are the symptoms, but based on your story, based on your perspective, based on the meaning that you give them, you just painted a whole story because there's a meaning. It means something to you. Somebody else with the exact same symptoms could say, I'm experiencing these symptoms and they're painful. Therefore, inflammation is going to that spot and it's actually an active healing right now. Therefore, I can feel myself healing. My body is working on it. Therefore, that means I'm going to be healing quickly. Therefore, that means this protocol is definitely working. Therefore, that means I am going to be a success story. I'm on my way to becoming a success story. Therefore, that means this time next year, I am going to be living the life of my dreams. I can travel again. I can do what I want. I can go back to work. Therefore, my whole life is going to be great. I can travel. I can invite friends over. I know this is working because I feel all these sensations in my body. And that means the healing in my body is active right now. My immune system is active right now. My cells are working towards healing right now, and therefore it means I am fully going to heal 100%, and I am going to live the life of my dreams. I just know it. Same symptom, completely different perspective, different story that's been built around it, and different meaning to you, right? A totally different meaning. The symptoms are the symptoms no matter what. The illness is the illness no matter what. Just because you think the first set of thoughts or you apply the first set of meaning to it, doesn't mean that's true. Just because we applied that second meaning to it and that second perspective, doesn't mean that's true. The symptoms are the symptoms of the symptoms, right? Your circumstances are your circumstances. You don't change the 3D. By continuing to think, oh no, therefore I'm never gonna heal, my life sucks, this sucks, I'm never gonna get over this, when you're thinking that, when that is the meaning that you've applied to what you're feeling in your current circumstances right now, and you continue to think that over and over and over, then you take action from that point of view, you align yourself from that point of view, you're into a victim mentality point of view, you give up easily, you lose hope easily, right? All of these things are going to happen now because of the story and the meaning that you applied to it. If you're looking at it from the other perspective, that means I'm for sure gonna heal, that I am gonna be a success story. This means this is working. Oh my gosh, I can feel it working. I can actually feel the symptoms flaring up in my body, totally working at healing this. It is active, it is working, it is strong right now. I am so gonna heal. So I'm just gonna sit down and plan my life. I'm gonna start to look at things, places that I can travel next year because I know this will be fully gone. I'm gonna apply for jobs online because you're now taking action based on the meaning that what you're giving it, right? I'm gonna look and see who I can go on an interview with and tell my success story to. Whatever it is that you've applied to that, this story, this perspective, whatever color glasses you're seeing this illness and these symptoms through, you've applied a meaning to that. And you are now going to start taking action in that direction. You're starting to feel more positive, more uplifted thoughts. You're going to be actually recalibrating your life in a different direction without even realizing it. The symptoms are the symptoms are the symptoms. But what meaning you give to them really dictates how you see something, how you feel about yourself, whether you give up easily or whether you keep going. Whether you're sinking into quicksand or into the victim mentality, or whether you're rising up and you're like, no, I got this. I can do this. I'm going for my walk. I'm doing this protocol. This is so working. I'm going to eat this diet. Like I am on this. Everything I'm doing is working. The universe has my back. The meaning that you give it, it really reshapes and recalibrates your whole life. And it's not that you have to effort harder now. It's that you just believe it more. You know it more. You've given a different meaning to it. Therefore, it is different because you have a different meaning attached to it. And then here's the second part. I said that it was all meaning and it was all decision. So now that you've given it a new meaning, you get to decide what that means, and you get to decide what you want to think, what you want to do, what action you want to take instead. So you could say, oh, I realize, I'm going down this path. That's not what I want to choose. That is not the action that I'm going to choose. That's not how I choose to see it. That's not what I want to see it. I'm going to apply a different meaning to this. And when I do, now I'm going to decide to do something different. I'm going to decide to think something different. And because of that, because you actually are deciding, no, I am healing. I am getting better. I've decided I am going to heal, and it doesn't have to take a long time. It's going to be quick. It's going to be linear. It's going to keep coming. I am on this. My protocols are working. I'm going to keep doing them. I feel good about what's happening. I know it's going to work. Then you are going to be taking different action. You are going to choose to decide from a different identity, right? Based on what meaning you've given the symptoms. You're going to decide from a new identity, a new perspective, a new meaning. And everything that you do from that place is in alignment with what you want to happen, with what you actually want to manifest in the 3D. Okay, I'm back at the beach and the perspective has changed yet again. So, manifestation, when you manifest, you are deciding what it is that you want and then deciding that you get to have it. If you are sick and you want to be healed, you want to be feeling vibrant, healthy, not what you don't want. Like, I don't want my symptoms, I don't want this, I don't want that. We all know what you don't want. What do you want? What is it that you want? Know what it is you want, know what it is that looks like, right? I want to be healthy. Great. What does that look like? What does that mean to you? When you say, I want to be healed, what does that look like? Know exactly what it is that you want. When you know what that's going to look and feel like when you get it, now you get to decide that you get to have it. No matter what your circumstances are, no matter how bad you feel, no matter what the doctor told you, no matter how long this is taking, you are deciding that this is what you want and that you definitely get to have it. So every time you catch yourself sinking down into victim mentality, into this woe is me story, into future catastrophizing, or thinking about the past and regretting it, or just being a victim to your present circumstances and moment, I want you to stop and say, what meaning am I giving what's happening in my life right now? What meaning am I allowing this illness to play out in my life? What meaning am I giving it, right? I'm doing this protocol that I really believe in and my symptoms just flared up. Great, you see your symptoms, you feel your symptoms. I'm not telling you to pretend your symptoms aren't there. I'm not telling you to think positive and pretend that you're healed now. What I am telling you to do is give it a different perspective, give it a different meaning. What else could it mean that you're doing this protocol and your symptoms flared up? What different meaning that feels better to you, that's in alignment with what it is that you want? You want to be healed. So how do you give what's happening so that you're not delusional? You see what's happening. You don't like what's happening. How do you give what's actually happening, these circumstances in your life, a meaning or a twist based on what it is that you want? So you want to be healed. You want to feel healthy. You're just starting a new protocol and your symptoms completely flared. You could give that the meaning that this protocol is terrible. See, there's another protocol that I tried that can't work. Nothing ever works for me. I'm never going to heal. Or you can be like, you could give it a meaning like, hey, this isn't the protocol for me. I'm glad I figured this out soon. That means I can change. That means I'm on the wrong track. That means I can do something completely different. Or you can be like, this protocol is working. It's activating my symptoms. It's activating my sensations. And all I need to do is a little tweak. Think about this differently, see this differently. Something's definitely happening. I know this is going to work. This is the protocol for me. This is going to heal me. I can stick this out a little bit longer because I know once my body acclimatizes to this protocol, then it's actually going to get even better, even faster. This is just a little hump. This is just die-off happening, or it's a Herxheimer reaction. You could give it any story. You could give it any meaning. What meaning are you going to choose to give it? So you get to choose what meaning you give to anything that happens in your life, any circumstances that happen. Somebody could die. The person you love more than anything could die. And you get to choose whether that means that your life is going to be horrible, that you will never feel happy or love again, or you get to decide whether this just means you get to have a second chance at a new love story and you get to fall in love all over again someday once your grieving process is over. You get to actually give meaning to what's happening. Okay, so you get to decide what this means. You get to decide what perspective and spin you're going to put on it. And when you notice that you're putting the old spin on it, or a spin you don't want to, or you're seeing it through colored glasses that you actually don't want to, you get to wipe those glasses clear. You get to take the glasses off and put on clear lenses. And you get to say, I am choosing to see it this way because that's what I'm deciding. And I'm going to apply this meaning to it. And you hold that meaning and you say, I'm going to apply this meaning. I am really going to believe this meaning. I am going to believe it because it's what I want, because it aligns with my manifestation, which is that I want to be healed, that I want to be healthy. So I am going to apply something that makes that manifestation come true, that makes that manifestation more likely to happen now, happen faster, happen at all, whatever. This is what I want, and I'm going to apply a meaning to these circumstances that I don't like. I get it. I don't like it. They're not doing what I want them to do. But I'm going to apply a perspective and a meaning to them that means I still get to have my manifestation. That means that it's still coming to me. I get to decide what meaning I have because I am going to apply a meaning that proves to me, or that tells me, or that reinforces that my manifestation gets to happen and it is on its way. And so it's not like you're lying to yourself. You are choosing to see it from a different perspective, a different meaning that you can believe. So therefore your belief grows stronger. So you're not delusional. You're not just forcing yourself to think something that you actually don't think or believe. You're choosing to apply a meaning that you can believe. Something that you can believe, you can get behind. So don't create a story or a new meaning that you actually can't believe. Make it logical in a way that works for your own mind to be able to see it from this new perspective or this new meaning that you can actually believe, so that you get to have your manifestation, what it is that you want. Or maybe it means this isn't working, but it's giving me an opportunity to practice something. It's giving me an opportunity to journal about this, or to get it out of my system, or to practice letting go, or to practice forgiveness, or to practice self-love. This is giving me an opportunity to grow, to expand. Maybe you can make it mean that you're growing, you're learning, you're discovering a new purpose. Maybe it means that you're growing into a new and better person, and that it's teaching you something that when you're finally healed, this new version of yourself is going to be more loving, more grateful, more present, more hopeful, and have much more wisdom in which to help yourself, your family, and others. Maybe it's giving you a gift that you don't even know yet, and you can give it that meaning. You get to decide what meaning you give to what's happening right now. So you get to decide what it means, and you get to decide what action you now take because of this new meaning. So you get to decide, I am going to believe this. I'm going to believe that my manifestation is coming to me, that I get to heal, and that I can heal quickly, that my body can heal, that my body can figure this out, that this protocol is good for me, that this protocol is working, that this diet is amazing for me, that everything I choose to do actually has immense healing power. You get to decide that, and you get to come up with a meaning why, if your circumstances are not showing you what it is that you want, you get to come up with a meaning that turns it on its head so that you can still believe in that manifestation, so that you can still be working towards it, so you can still hold the belief of it. You get to apply a meaning to the circumstances that you don't like that still shows you that it's working, that it's possible. You get to say, no, even though this is happening, even though my symptoms are flaring, even though I seem to be having a really bad day, even though my symptoms are getting stronger, I get to flip it and say, it's because of this, it's working, I'm getting closer. So you get to decide what it is that you want. You get to decide what you want to manifest. And then you get to decide that you get to have it. And then you get to decide when that's not working out, or when it appears that your manifestation is not coming true, or you're going in a different direction, you get to decide what meaning you give to that. You get to decide what meaning you give to every single day and every single circumstance that is going on in your life. You get to see it from whatever perspective you choose to, and you get to decide what it actually means. And if you choose that it means that you are getting closer and closer to healing, that you're getting closer to finding that one protocol that is going to work, that things are really working and moving and shifting for you. So you choose what you want to manifest. You choose that you get to have it. You can choose what perspective you get to see this from. You choose what meaning you give to your current circumstances, and you choose what action you're going to take now, what thoughts you're going to put in your mind now. You get to decide at every step along the way. You can make a decision on what you want to manifest. You get to decide that you're going to get it. You get to decide what perspective you see it from. You get to decide what meaning you apply to the circumstances that when they don't go your way. You get to decide what thoughts you put in your head. You get to decide what action you hold. You get to decide what beliefs you hold. You get to decide all of it. You are the operant power. Once you make the decision, You decide. You decide what meanings. You get to decide what values, what beliefs you're going to hold, what actions you're going to take, and what you're going to choose to do when things don't go your way, when it's not going your way, when the circumstances aren't reflecting what you want. You get to decide whether you're going to give up. You get to decide whether you're going to slip into victim mode. You get to decide. You get to decide. It's all about deciding. It's all about deciding. And when you give it a different meaning, it makes the decision easier. When you give it a meaning that you can relate to, that you can stand behind, that you can get behind, even if it's difficult, when you give it a different meaning, then you're going to take different actions. The decisions are going to be easier for you to make, to hold that manifestation in your mind, to hold your beliefs, to take aligned action. So remember, making the decision, no matter where you're at, is the most important thing. And if you can't see it, if you can't even believe it yet, just deciding it is something. Trying to give it meaning that makes that decision, that makes that manifestation come true. Give it the meaning that you want it to have. Give it the meaning that makes it easier for you to hold on to that decision and to know it's coming to you. So I hope that this video has broken it down and explained it in a way that is easier to understand, that's easier to hey, you're not just waving a magic wand and putting a thought in your head and then poof, it gets to come true. It's no, you're taking action for that. You're taking aligned action. You're putting thoughts in your head that reflect what you want. You're putting beliefs in your head that reflect what you want. You're giving meaning to it that reflects what you want. You're basically calling in what you want to happen and deciding that you get to have it. This is how it works. It's not magic. It's that you now have oriented your entire life to do, think, become, take action, believe from this new perspective, from this new place. And that's how manifestation works. Whether it's health, whether it's $1 million, whether it's a specific person or love in your life, no matter what it is, when you believe it and when you orient your whole life around the fact that this is what's going to happen to you and for you, and that the universe has your back and that it's coming to you, and you start to take action because you now believe that. You start to think things because you're believing that. You start to create an entire life and a new identity around this. That's how manifestation works. That's how the law of assumption works. That's how the law of attraction works. This is how it works. So if you liked this video, and if you want to take my Become Your Own Healer program, which is really the holy grail of how to heal yourself, because we're not just looking at things like manifestation, we are looking at everything: the mind, the body, the heart, and the soul. And when you do all of the right tools and techniques for each part of you, you can and will heal yourself. So again, that information's below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.